Julie here. Just a quick video to explain if you are in a cluster of schools or you're in a multi-academy trust or even a hard federation, how QFES can help you carry out some school-to-school support. It's really important that we start working together. We don't have the funds anymore to keep calling in advisors. We don't have that kind of money available to us. And actually, I think we forget that many schools around us have a lot of strengths within them, but we don't always know what those strengths are. I certainly don't. I know about some strengths of some schools around me, but I know that if every school had an audit carried out on them, I'd probably have a much clearer picture. So that's my suggestion, really. If you are a cluster of schools and you want to be able to help each other and not spend money on advisors, what I would suggest is that if as a group you bought into the QFES system, SOS system, then what you would do is as a group you could all then carry out an audit on each of your schools. What I would then do at that stage is begin to do some share and compare. Now, each of those head teachers of each of those schools within the cluster, you could bring reports on certain areas of your school. So, for instance, as a group, you may want to focus on well-being. I know a lot of schools are working on that at the moment, which is wonderful. So you might then go into your dashboard, look at health and well-being, and you may draw down just a report just on health and well-being and bring that report or email that report to your cluster group. I know my cluster group have a SharePoint, and so therefore you may have a SharePoint or a Dropbox that you put papers in to share. You could all then draw down a report on health and well-being for each of your schools and drop them in. You could then compare what each of you are doing well and what each of you are struggling with. Now, it could be that there are certain areas, if I have a look at the RAG entry and look at health and well-being, these are the sorts of areas that you're going to be auditing. Now, it says well-being of pupils permeates the curriculum. Well, you would want some evidence of that, certainly, by showing your curriculum mapping. But if each of you had this RAG rated, you could then focus on who has a green where someone has a red, who has a red where someone has a green, who has an amber, and start sharing with each other. If you're a green, how did you get to green? Start working in partnership with the head teacher who has that as a red. Start sharing with them the strategies you took and put in place in order to get that to green. So let's have a look. Pupils have opportunities to participate in outdoor learning and recognise how the natural environment can benefit their well-being. Well, one school might have that as red and one may have it as green. And then I would suggest that your teachers who are in charge of outdoor learning or well-being, or it might be the head teachers, start spending some time really digging down. Why are you green? What have you done to get to green? What sort of strategies can we take from you? What kind of ideas can we take from you? Because I'd really like to get mine to amber and over a period of time get it to green. So start working together as a cluster. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing this, particularly if you are a MAT, a multi-academy trust, and let's say you have 10 schools within your trust. And it doesn't matter how many schools you have. When you have more than one, you can begin to compare and share. You'll see up here I have 2 schools, but I've actually combined them because we're hard federated. So I've put them all the details in that are relevant to both schools rather than just one. But what you might do if you are a MAT is you may have 10 schools. If you ask all your schools to do an audit, and then what you can do is you can get a login so that you can look at every single school. So you can look into every school's audit, breaking it down, looking at their evidence, looking at their RAG ratings for their 230 statements. You're going to have such a clear picture of each and every school. But what you can also do is compare. So you may ask to look at just one area for all the schools and create reports to compare them. So that's a really quick overview at looking at your schools. So for instance, a lot of schools at the moment are busy organising their curriculum in a different way, and you might look at curriculum. You might decide that the area that says they've got a meaningful curriculum in place, clear intent, implementation and impact. Some may be red, some could be amber, some could be green. And you might want to dig down and have a look at what evidence. Where the ones that are green, they need to then be having some shared staff meeting time with the teachers from the school that are red and start sharing what they've been doing and why they're green or amber. And so this then really allows the CEO or the executive head of those schools to begin marrying up those schools, but being absolutely specific about what area are they going to be focusing on improving. Once they've spent some time together and they've shared some strategies, you can drill down that report again. For instance, if we look at reporting, there are already reports there. So your report will already be in the archive. You can draw a new report on that and you can compare it to the one from 3 months ago and have a look and see which schools are now moving from red to amber and amber to green, and has it had the impact that you expected it to have. And that's what you would want to see. As a CEO and executive head, you would want to see that what you have done has actually made a difference. There's no calling in advisors for each and every school. We cannot afford to do that. It's not possible. We don't have the funds for that anymore. So you may have 20 schools, you may have 30 schools. It doesn't matter how many schools there are. You can take one short, small area or a whole group. You can look at drawing down a report on teaching and learning for all of your 20 schools and compare them and marry them up, begin some school-to-school support which is highly focused, really robust auditing and addressing those issues very, very quickly. Build on the strengths that you have in your MAT to support the schools who do not have them as strengths. It is not about weaknesses, it is about building strength, and you have lots of it in your MAT. And this is a very quick and simple way for a CEO or governors or a trust, the trustees as well, can compare their schools and see who's supporting who, what effect is it having, is it of any use whatsoever. If you set up some school-to-school support, and they might want to set up a project that you've got 2 schools that have been married up together, you've got a green and a red now working together for the next 3 months, and they have to produce what they've been doing, they can go into the knowledge base and see if they can find anything in there that might support them. There could be some inset training, or maybe they have some of their own resources. Maybe they want to contact me and they would like me to come in and do an inset day. And help them to share those strategies to support the bridge between the green and the red. I'm happy to come and do that. I have trainers who can come in and work with both schools, or you might want me to come in and just work with both head teachers so that they are very, very clear about what it is they're doing over that 3 months or whatever time frame you've set them to improve. There are lots and lots of ways for CEOs to have a wonderful overview of all their schools at the touch of a button. There's no sitting with a head teacher for 5 hours asking lots of questions. Just log in to their audit and reporting tool, log in and see all of your school's audits, and really start building some school-to-school support. All the strengths are there in your MAT, free of charge. Use them. If you want any training, support, inset, coaching, anything like that, you just contact me, and at a small extra charge, I will come in and I will help them build on what's already there. So if you're a cluster or a MAT, this is perfect for you to have an overview of your schools at the touch of a button and instantly work on improving it. Thank you.